Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to my rant video series. So today's rant video I'll be talking about today is this news that broke out yesterday about Marvel doing a new relaunch. And according to the Hollywood Reporter, it's called a fresh start, basically. So Marvel had announced yesterday that they're gonna do another relaunch, and it's like something like a fresh start for all the characters. Now, here's where the ranting comes in. For anybody who's been keeping up with Marvel Comics for years, you may notice that Marvel has done a lot of relaunches over the years. Like first they had Marvel Now, then they had all new, all different Marvel. Then they had Marvel Now 2.0, and then they had Marvel Legacy, and all those relaunches promised that we're gonna do something different with these characters. We're gonna change the history of the characters and everything. But when you read these comics, nothing really happens. Like everything still remains the same. The characters didn't really change. The only difference that happened with these relaunches is that they added new characters, and sometimes the teams get shifted and stuff like that with new creative teams. But other than that, that's all we see. We don't see any really. We don't see any stories that really changed who the characters are. And even if they had some events like Secret Wars and stuff like that, the changes never really stick. So it kind of makes me wonder about this new relaunch. Are we really going to be seeing the same thing over and over again? Are we really going to get something different? And why is Marvel constantly doing all these relaunches lately? Like, it seems like every year they want to relaunch their titles, but they never really change anything about the characters. And then when you look at these stories, every time the characters actually do go through some kind of development, or there's storylines that actually progress the characters or change how we perceive the characters and stuff like that, they never really stick. And Marvel's like, oh, let's go ahead and do a relaunch and rewrite everything we just did for the last story. Yeah, we have certain things stick from the last story, but then the relaunch comes in, we're just going to erase everything that we did for those characters. So it's like a lot of these changes that happen to the characters don't really stick. And it makes me wonder, is this new relaunch actually going to change these characters? And are these changes really going to stick for this time, or are we going to go through another relaunch again and Marvel's going to be like, oh, we're just going to throw all the development that the characters went through out the window and just start all over again? And I hope it's not like that, like I wouldn't mind Marvel doing a relaunch every few years or so, but every year they do a relaunch, and every year they say we're gonna change these characters, we're gonna do something different with these characters, and nothing really happens, Or if they try to change the characters, then they want to rewrite it to those changes never happen, and they just start all over again with the characters. So that's my biggest issue with all this. And then we had like 6 different relaunches lately, and I don't know why they keep relaunching every year. Now, here's some theories I have about why Marvel's doing this. For one thing, sales. Apparently when they did Marvel Now, they had pretty high sales when it first happened with the relaunches. And then the next year it did okay. And then the year after that, it started going down. The sales started going down. And I think by that point, people were just getting sick and tired of all these relaunches. They're like, Marvel, why don't you just let the characters progress? Why don't you just let the stories go on instead of constantly relaunching these lines? So, you know, we don't get any kind of development with these characters, or we don't get the changes that we want. So, I do wonder about that too. And I think another reason is because of what happened last year. If anybody knows about Marvel's year in 2017 was a pretty bad year for them, and Marvel Legacy was in the center of it. So I think that was one of the reasons why they did this relaunch, because they were like, we had a really bad year in 2017 regarding Marvel Legacy, so we don't want to repeat that mistake again. So we're just gonna relaunch all these titles just to put that behind us, and that's probably another reason. But those are some of the reasons I can think of for sales, and because of what happened last year with Marvel Legacy. So they're probably like, we're not going to go through the same mistake again. We're just going to relaunch everything and do things differently. But I do wonder what kind of changes they're going to do with these comics, and what the teams are going to be like, and are these stories even going to be any good? Well, that's something we have to see when these stories start being put out. But overall, I'm not really excited about this because, like I said, Marvel's been doing relaunches like every year, and it's been the stories still remain the same. Like, not much really changed. The only thing's changed is that there's some new characters, and sure, you had some events that changed the characters a bit, but they never stick. So, hopefully with this new relaunch, this is something Marvel's going to stick with for a few more years instead of like. I hope Marvel doesn't do another relaunch after this one and actually try to stick with the stories they have set and don't try to start over again with these relaunches. But personally, I prefer Marvel to not do so many relaunches. I mean, I understand about the sales and stuff like that, but it's getting tiresome at this point, and I just hope that Marvel just have stories that stick around for once. So what do you guys think about all this? Are you excited for Marvel's new relaunch, or do you think it's getting a bit tiresome at this point? And do you think Marvel should reboot their whole line, or do you think they should just stay the same, but just make sure that the characters stay developed or the changes actually stick? Please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated any new videos I post up. And also, like my Facebook page, Rabbitearsblog's Best Comments, and also support me through Patreon so I can continue to push out great content for this channel. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.